that feeling you get in the morning after a big night out? Because our friends at Zbiotics are here to help. Zbiotics, pre-alcohol probiotic drink, is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic, invented by PhD scientists, designed to tackle tough mornings the night after drinking. Here's how this works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct that goes to your gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol creates an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make Zbiotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly. Zbiotics pre-alcohol is perfect for those who always have their health in mind and are looking to master the balance of work and play. So I want you to level up your recovery, and I want you to do it today. I'll get you 15% off your first order at checkout. All you got to do is click on the link in the description. Plus, Zbiotics offers a 100% money-back guarantee. If you are not satisfied for any reason, they will refund all of your money, no questions asked. Dricus Du Plessis comes out, and he wants to thank Ankalaev for foiling the biggest payday of his life. I had to read this again. I've heard the word foiling before, but I've never used it. I don't totally know what it means. It means to, spoil. So he foiled. You foiled my plans, you pesky kids. It was from some cartoon when I was growing up. I think it was called Scooby-Doo. But there was another cartoon called Inspector Gadget where the guy's jacket. Remember that one? His jacket had open, he had this long arms. One of those two would use the word foil. They foiled me plans. All right. Is he right? Is he right about that? Is Pereira versus Dricus the biggest fight of Dricus's career? But the biggest fight to this point in Dricus's career. I mean, that's a massive claim that he's making because he had Izzy. Izzy versus Dricus was a tremendous night of business. That was the most personal feud I, as a fan, had ever felt. I had people argue with me and tell me that I was part of the most personal feud. Me against Silva. But those boys used words so hot, the media wanted them to say it for the ratings, but didn't even respond with an opinion. Even to scold them and say, you shouldn't talk this way. They spoke so hot that it created a silence. And Dricus is saying that he'd have a bigger fight with Pereira. I'm asking you if he's right. Because if he is, how do we get him together? Why would we not want the biggest fight? So, I never bought the idea of Pereira going down to 185 pounds. Now, the insiders around Alex do maintain that he was very sincere in his convictions, that he truly would have done it. I'm just sharing that I never quite bought that. That seemed like a little bit of a stretch to me. The world champion at 205. The biggest star and face of the company. And I'm sure Sean O'Malley might disagree with that, but a former champion of a weight class that he left. He didn't leave the weight class because he liked the weight class. He left the weight class because he did not like the weight class. It'd be like getting married to the girl that you broke up with 3 years ago. You did not break up with the girl 3 years ago because you liked her and wanted to marry her. So why, if I find out that you broke up with a girl years ago and then I find out that you're getting married, why would I assume that you're marrying her? I would be right to assume you're not marrying her, but Dricus is now speaking up, and he says that this would be the biggest fight of his career. So what do we have to do to get them together? I just never bought the idea of the champion at 205, Alex, pulling back down to 185 pounds. No, people told me it's true. It also takes away from the significance. You can pretend that you like watching smaller guys fight. You can pretend that all that you want. You think that you're the bigger man, you're a purist, and you're after the skill. Boy, you trust me. I got to play the same game. It's very different when you make those super fights for the guy going up. And it enlied part of the problem why we can't just make that fight now. I mean, Alex Pereira is not a world champion. He would like to be. But he can't just leave 205 and go down to 85. What if he were to succeed? If he were to succeed at 85, it would still not have made right what went wrong at 205. It's kind of got to be done at 205. And should he succeed at 205, are we then going to go to the rubber match? I got nothing from the announcement or the quasi-announcement that Pereira and Ankalaev would rematch. I got nothing from that except a pretty good idea that Jones and Aspinall was done. The moment that the idea that we would go into an immediate rematch with Alex and Ankalaev, the moment that that came into this world, particularly the person who brought that into this world, what that told me is Jones and Aspinall is done. But let's say we go and we fight Ankalaev and Pereira again. The fight that we weren't dying to see the first time, then we've got to go see it a second time. But let's say we get a different result. Do we go to the rubber match? And the future can only tell us that. I'm trying to find a way to get Dricus what he wants. I'm trying to find a way. How do we get Dricus? It's the biggest fight of Dricus' career. We don't want to take that from him. And that must be a pretty damn big night. And if Ankalaev and Pereira are going to go play with each other a second time, that would be enough time to get Chimaev and Dricus and get that out of the way. So what's that have to look like? Who is to win? Do they both have to win? How do we get Dricus and Alex in there? How would we pass on Dricus' biggest fight? Why is Dricus just now bringing us this news that he thinks that is his biggest fight? Pereira's done a good job of intimidating, of putting his nose in Dricus' business. That's true. And Dricus has seemingly been a gentleman. But he is now letting us know that the presentation of the gentleman is just the presentation. That's not how he actually feels inside. How he feels inside is, I wanted to be Ankalaev. I wanted to be the one in there doing that to you. I wanted to be the one to beat you. I wanted to be the one to break your heart. I wanted to be the one to take your title away. Now, all the guys under contract, and particularly all the top guys, want that. They succeed in this sport by having an evil heart. You must have a black heart in this business, which is to be fully aware of somebody else's sacrifices, goals, and dreams, and not care, and want to take all of that for yourself. You have to have that. But it did surprise me to hear Dricus speak on the subject, and if it is such a good fight, if it is such a big fight, what's holding them back? Is it that Ankalaev's now ruined it? Can we mend that? Because I do speak for the entire MMA community when I tell you Ankalaev versus Pereira, we fully accept it. That's a great match. But we don't need to see it a third time. Like whoever wins this next one, we're good. All the marbles are in on this. I speak for the whole community when I tell you that. And if Pereira were to get his belt back, we have long had a problem with who should get to fight him. That was going to be a problem if he beat Pereira. It was going to be such a problem, or if he beat Ankalaev, it was going to be such a problem for Pereira in terms of what's next that we were probably going to just have to move him out of the weight class. We were probably going to have to take him on up to heavyweight. See how Jones and Aspinall goes. So that problem wouldn't go away. It would still be there. And it sounds like Dricus would like to have that shot. I didn't know that. I didn't know Dricus wanted to fight Pereira. I didn't know Dricus saw that as such a big fight and such a big opportunity. I don't know most things about Dricus until I hear it from Dricus. He's got a way of entering a room, if you will. Dricus Du Plessis, our sitting world champion at 185 pounds, just did an interview where he stated that Alex Pereira, our number one contender at 205 pounds, is the biggest opportunity of his life. Is he right? And if so, how do we get them together?